Make me the sea, oh make me the sea, make me the sea, oh make me the sea, wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea, wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. I want to show you how to use basic chords and how to improve on those basic chords. We are going to be using the same chant, I am the bubble, make me the sea, because the chords are extremely easy. So far, I have simply taught you how to play the melody of the chants, adding the drone note, which is optional, but it makes it a little bit richer. And really, the melody is the most important part of the chant. It's the part that you should be playing, it's the part that Swami Kriyananda said is the soul's aspiration. It is, you could say, the soul of the chant. It is the energy, the vibration of the chant. It really should be played at all times and should also be sung at all times when playing the chant. Unless, of course, you are in a group and different people can also add some harmony to it. But when you're singing alone and you want to attune yourself to Yogananda with your chanting, the melody is the most important thing. You may be asking yourself, what is a chord? Well, a chord really is just a combination of 3 or 4 notes played together. So instead of playing only 1 note at a time, or 2 if you count the drone, you will be playing 3 or 4 notes. Now, the key to really playing the chords is to merge melody and chords together. And I will show you the difference between the two in this video. Chords on their own hardly really work. Chords and melody together, they become beautiful. Now, you can use chords alone if there is somebody else next to you playing the melody. But if that's not the case, you should always play the melody. So if we take a look at this page, we see that below here we have the words of the chant with the notes that we are supposed to play with each word, which I already taught you in the previous video. Right here in the square we have the drone note. Then we have all the musical notes written in the Western style, which I'm not going to go over. And up here you see it says D, D and G, and there are more down, are the chords that are to be played in the guitar or in the harmonium. So what is a D chord? Well, in this book also you can see here that they give us all the chords. You can take a screenshot of this, or you can simply find them online, because these chords are universal. They are not just unique for Ananda or anything like that. They are just musical chords. So if we have a look at the first chord, is D. The book tells us that to play a D chord we had to press the keys D, F sharp and A. D, F sharp and A. Note that it says D, F sharp and A, but it doesn't say which D, F sharp or A. So as we know, this particular harmonium that I'm using has at least 3 of each, and so it could be these ones, or instead of playing this A right here, I could be playing this A right here. Or if I were to play here, instead of playing this D, I could be playing this D. Now that is when knowing the melody helps you, because as we learn in the other chant, the melody happens all right here. These are the notes that we use, so the chord is gonna be all around here. It can go a little lower as well, because it adds a little bit to the sound. So let's try it. What happens if I play the D chord like this, or if I play it like this? I personally like that lower sound that the lower A gives, so I tend to play it like this. Then we have the chord G. If we look at the book again, it says the G chord is G, B and D. So we are here in the D chord, so then we had to go G, B and D. Luckily for us, we are already pressing the the note. So we had just to change our hand to play the G and the B. Now the B is right here and the G is right here. So this is the G chord. And there is one more chord that is used in this chant, which is the E minor. If we look, E minor is E, G and B, which is very convenient because E, G, B, we are already pressing G, B and D. So there is only one note difference. Instead of playing the D, we had to press the E. So this is D, so we press the E. So from this, we go to this. So the chords are D, G, E minor. Very simple. Now let's have a look of what the chant will sound like if we play only the chords. So do thou, my Lord, so do thou, my Lord, thou and I never apart, thou and I never apart. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea, wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. I am the bubble, and so on and so forth. Now that sounds okay, but as you see, unless you know how to sing well and you know how to sing the melody, and also importantly how other people, if they are singing with you, should know the melody, it becomes very confusing. Now I know this song very well, so I can sing the melody and mostly stay in tune. But many people who only play the chords like this, they start singing the melody wrong, because when we play the melody, it guides our voice, so we don't make any mistakes and we are able to attune ourselves to the song. But as you see, playing this only with the chords is also very, very easy. I would personally not recommend it to do it this way. So what is the alternative? The alternative, as I said earlier, is to merge the melody with the harmony. Now we know the melody is all here, as we said before, so try to add these notes into your chant. So what I do, and you can, the beautiful thing about the chords is that you can play melody and chords in your own way. Sometimes you don't have to play the entire chord, sometimes you can just play 2 of the notes and change drones in between. Or sometimes you can play 4 notes of the chord, which is repeating one of the notes of the chord. So instead of doing G, B, D, you may do G, B, D, G, and just repeat 2 of the same one, depending on how it sounds. And that's something that I will do here. So how do I play this song? I showed you last time how to play it with bouncing the note a little bit and all that. So something similar. So it starts here. And what I'm gonna do is play the melody along. So do thou, my Lord, so do thou, my Lord. Now, here it tells us that the chord should still be the, isn't it? And we know that I'm already playing the D chord. But the next note of the melody is this one part, this particular one here, which is another A. So what I'm going to do it is just I'm going to simply add it, and you see I'm going to be playing the chord with 4 notes. So thou and I never apart, thou and I never apart. And wave of the sea, dissolving the sea, wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. So you see here, it tells us to play E minor, which is E, G, B, and then the next, but then we had to play the G, which will be normally be this, but since that note for this sol is an A, I'm going to, instead of playing G, play the A and then come back. So, wave of the sea, dissolving the sea, wave of the sea, dissolving the sea, I am the bubble, make me the sea, I am the bubble, make me the sea, and again, make me the sea, oh make me the sea, make me the sea, oh make me the sea, wave of the sea, dissolving the sea, wave of the sea, dissolving the sea, I am the bubble, make me the sea. And you see that sounds much more beautiful. Let's compare the two. I am the bubble, make me the sea, so do thou, my Lord, thou and I never apart. Again, so do thou, my Lord, so do thou, my Lord, thou and I never apart, thou and I never apart. And then you can add a little bit more of flavor here. So, thou and I never part, wave of the sea, dissolving the sea, wave of the sea, dissolving the sea, I am the bubble, make me the sea, I am the bubble, make me the sea. Just play along and have fun with it. Now, the only recommendation that in this chant is not so much of a problem, but in future chants that I teach you, it may be a problem, is when you change chords, try to make them sound as seamless as possible. So instead of doing from this D chord into a G, don't do obviously I'm exaggerating. We are lucky that in this chant all the chords between one and the other, at least one note is the same between all the chords. So that means that make sure to keep that note always present. So you see between this and this, the D note is there between the D chord and the G chord. And between the G chord and the E minor chord, basically two of the notes are there. So again, but in the future there will be sometimes that you had to change much more your hand, but just keeping that sound all throughout becomes very, very helpful because it makes the chant sound nicer. So it should be nice and smooth. But obviously do whatever you can and enjoy, and you will see. It may take you a little time to get used to it. Your fingers need to get used to changing positions and all those things. But eventually you will be able to play it easily with your eyes closed and very easily go within as if you were just playing the melody. Swami Kriyananda explained that the chords also help awaken the emotions of the heart in a different way. He mentioned that sometimes it's fine to do that, but in general we had to be careful. So I want to read this that he says. Up to a point, chords are helpful, for they stir up feeling in the heart. I remember Master during the chanting at one Christmas meditation encouraging us, whip up feeling in your hearts. But I worried also about their use. For one thing, to stir the emotions at the beginning of a chanting session can be helpful, but later on the emotions must be transformed into intuitive feeling, which is always calm and interiorized. There are three ways of expressing emotion musically: through melody, chords, and rhythm. Even an uplifting melody can be dragged down by chords that are too emotional, and by a heavy rhythm. Chords, if too heavily emphasized, can keep the music on an emotional level, and too heavy a downbeat in the strumming of the guitar will also emphasize the emotions, and feeling that is strengthen the ego with the implied affirmation, I want, I like, I don't like. Another aspect of the chords is that there are right chords and how much should we use chords? You'll notice that in my album Kriyananda Chants Yogananda, I hardly use them at all. I chant much more in the style master use. At the same time, this album is more for individual singing than for large groups, and therefore doesn't even try to be rhythmic. Back to the question of chords then. I say don't feel that chords are essential to our chanting. Melody is what's essential. People who find chords easier to play and who therefore skimp on playing the melody or omit it altogether ought to try to learn to play the melodies and to play them correctly. It isn't enough only to sing them. The practice of playing chords without melody is getting too far away from master style of chanting. Secondly, it will help as you get deeper into a chant to get away from playing the chords altogether and concentrate entirely on the melody. Through the melody, you'll find it easier to attune yourself to Om than you will by continuing to emphasize the emotional feeling awakened by chords. Go from outer exuberance to quiet absorption within. What I have found is that most people go through periods in life, periods that sometimes they want to learn the chords because they add a certain beauty to the chant, and that cannot be denied. And people who want to make the chant itself sound more beautiful are inclined to play, at least to some degree, the chords. I have found that for myself, that used to be the case as well. I started playing the melody, then I wanted to learn the chords to improve my ability with the harmonium, and also because they really sound very beautiful. And then as I kept on going, I discovered that I enjoyed the melody more. Now there are many chants that I learned to play with the chords, which I still really enjoy playing with the chords because their sound is so beautiful and it helps me to take it deeper. However, I have started to see that when I start chanting alone more, I tend to use the melody because it helps me go more within, just as Swamiji says. So enjoy and hope to see you in the next video.